moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. While we're talking about awards and being proud as Tobagonians representing our spaces that we occupy, we shift gears a little bit and we speak this morning to Mr. Kerwin John. Mr. Kerwin John has been re-elected as the president of the Tobago Cricket Association for the 6th consecutive year. And Mr. John is on the line with us this morning, and we're going to have that conversation. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Adanna, and season greetings to you.
Good morning, and welcome. We're so happy that we're having conversation with you this morning, and many, many congratulations to you again.
Thanks again. I appreciate it quite much.
Right, and so we know you have a very rich history in cricket, a love for the game, and also a player of the game as well, and now being re-elected for a 6th consecutive year as the president of the Tobago Cricket Association. What does that mean for you?
It means a lot. It means that the work for Tobago cricket and the work for cricket in general within Trinidad and Tobago space and the West Indies goes on. It always feels good to be grounded here at your own island, at your own association, being able to make a contribution here, and you take that same experience you get from the outside space, being a director at West Indies Cricket Board, being vice president at the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board, to be able to depart that knowledge back into your local association.
Right. You know, they say sport is something that kind of unites people together, right? How do you see cricket? Because we see all different types of cricket. We see one day, we see test match, we see all different types of, I don't have all the terms for the types of cricket that people play, but you see so many people coming together, different cultures, people from all over the world coming together as cricket, for cricket. How do you see the sport uniting people together, putting the differences aside to celebrate this art form that is cricket?
Well, as you would know, they call cricket the gentleman's game. It is a game where you are supposed to compete. When you cross that line and you go out there on the field, you expect that camaraderie, you expect that competition, you expect that stiffness, but then you also should do that in fair play. It is also an opportunity to meet other people from different aspects of life and then come together and make friends, because as I said, it's a gentleman's game. So it gives you the opportunity as a player to travel, if it is that you apply your skills in a particular way and you are invited to these tournaments overseas and stuff like that. It gives you the opportunity to earn, and it gives you the opportunity to meet people and make friends and open up the whole system in a wider way that you can then get your fellow colleagues from Tobago involved in the sport in other countries.
Your 6 years of being the president, how has that helped you to improve your skills in terms of management? Because I know being the president means that you have to manage, whether it is the schedule, the tournament, the players, the clubs, the groups. How has that allowed you to improve your management skills?
Well, a great deal. I remember the first 2 years, because at the Tobago Cricket Association, we have 2-year term, which you would know in the true sense in the today's space. A 2-year term is not really much. You can't really do much in 2 years. I remember my first 2 years in 2014. I was at sea basically because I wasn't a member of the Tobago Cricket Association executive before. I came straight into the executive as president. So I was not serving before in any capacity to have a feel of what was going on. Thank God I was always one in my village and stuff like that, who always around group activities. So like Ball Stars, which was the major football club in Dalaford at the time. My mother was the secretary, taking me to meetings and stuff like that. So I had a clear idea how to conduct a meeting and stuff like that. So I had those things at the back of my head. But in terms of running the thing, it took a while. So the first 2 years was basically feeling my foot out and get my feet wet in the space. After that, I could say 10 years from that, fast track from 2014 to 2024, I could run this thing with my eyes closed. I could run this thing basically on remote because I know every button every button to push. I could just stay anywhere and give instructions to my fellow members and explain to them what to do to get that done. So as it is now, it is much easier.
It's happy to know that you can actually see and identify the progress that you have made over the past years to where you are now. For you, what is the most important thing being the president of Tobago Cricket Association and advancing cricket on the island of Tobago?
Well, the most important thing as it is now will definitely be youth development. I think that is one of the areas that we could have done better in our tenure, but it wasn't as a fault of the T.C.A. Funding, anything you do, funding would always be a major factor in whatever you do. I remember in the cricket summit at the Hyatt with the prime ministers around the region, and Michael Holding made a statement there and then. He said that it takes cash to care. A lot of people go around and tell us that, okay, fine, we love the sport, we love what you're doing and whatever, but you can't do what you really want to do without the funding. So as Michael Holding said, you're telling us whether you are in authority for funding and stuff like that. We are saying that we care, but it takes cash to care. So youth development would be, and it would be the main focus of this tenure, this time around, because as I said, I believe it's one area that we could have done better. But as I said, I don't think it's any fault of the Tobago Cricket Association. It had to do with funding, and then we have to remember that we just came out of COVID, and after that, the T.C.A. was not in the best financial position. I must say, thank God, we are in a very good position now, the best position that we have ever been in. So now we have all the tools to now focus on that youth development part.
And, of course, I look forward to seeing that. I always believe that getting young people involved in something, whether it is sport or any other type of extracurricular activities, will keep them off the streets and doing something that is productive, that can lead to, in this case, a profession that can bring some income for them as well. Kerwin, where do you see yourself and the T.C.A. in the next, let's say, next 6 years?
At the Tobago Cricket Association level or at cricket administration level?
Both.
Next 6 years. I really don't know from the Tobago space where I'm at this point. I know I will give it my all in this tenure, try to get some more things done. So I don't want to make a commitment per se at the Tobago Cricket Association level, but I know I would be there and about. Maybe even if it's not as president, I would still try to have, a little say in whatever way I can. At the Trinidad and Tobago level, I said I am the vice president. I have been the vice president since I think it's 2018, the second vice president, and I am now a West Indies Cricket Board director. So at that level, yes, I would continue to serve. I would continue to give it my all. I get a great deal of joy serving at the West Indies Cricket Board level, knowing that I could contribute at that level. Yes, as you would know, we might not be at where any one of us would like to see the West Indies team at this point, but it's always a work in progress. So I would keep on doing what I do. I would keep on fighting to try to see how much I could empower Tobagonians, because I have been doing that. I mean, under my tenure, a lot of Tobagonians have been serving at the Trinidad and Tobago level. You have Brian Brown, who was the under-15 coach, who is now the under-19 coach of the national team. You have the Cecil Arthur, who was the chairman of the disciplinary committee. You have Steve Sanchez, who is also on that committee. You have Oscar Orr, who is on the appeals committee. Marcus Daniel is an under-13 selector. John Pollard was an under-17 selector. And the list goes on, because Orlando James this year was the captain of the national under-19 team. So where I sit at the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board level, every opportunity I get to empower Tobagonian, I try my best to, bring people along, because I am not going to be here forever. At some point in time, this position will have to be moved on to someone else. So I try to empower my Tobagonian as much as possible, and I will keep on doing that.
Thank you so much, Mr. John, and I do wish you the very, very best as you continue to serve, whether in this capacity or any other, on any cricket board or any association you are affiliated with, for the development of the island of Tobago, the people of Tobago, and the sport of cricket. Thank you so very much, and do have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and a wonderful season. Ladies and
Thanks very
gentlemen,
much, Ayanna, and all the best to you.
thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Kerwin John, President, re-elected President for 6 consecutive years of the Tobago Cricket Association.